Welcome back to another action figure review. In this review, we're going to be taking a look at something a little different. We're going to take a look at the 1/18 scale Bandai Dragon Ball Z Shodo Nappa action figure. What makes these very unique is they have a unique style of articulation and design for that articulation. Here's Nappa here in front of us. He is a 1/18 scale or 3.75 inch action figure. I do not have the packaging because I've had him for a while, and before I started doing I started my channel and doing action figure reviews. So I will show you a picture of what the package looks like. The packaging itself, it had like this is what you would stand, very small, maybe 4 to 5 inch packaging, but it had like this plastic baggy cover in the bubble. So when you seen the figure inside the packaging, it was blurry. But here, you'll see what I'm talking about when you see the picture. So here's a picture of Nappa in the package. But you see that it has that piece of plastic that's in there, and you barely can make out the figure anyway. So that's what the package looks like. So I just wanted to show you guys how those looked inside the packaging. There's not very many of these. They did a handful of them. We're going to be taking a look at several of them, and so you want to subscribe to my channel so you can get those notifications whenever I do the review for the next Dragon Ball Z 1/18 scale figure. These are very awesome figures. Like I said, they're quite different than you're used to from your Star Wars or G.I. Joe, even like your Joy Toy. These got some pretty insane articulation. So let's take a look at the actual figure himself. Here's Nappa. Fantastic sculpt. I mean, what you expect from right out of the cartoon. Very cool. It has his unique style mustache there. He has a scouter on. The scouter is not removable. It is on his head. He does have a visor over his eye. He does have his Saiyan armor. You can see his tail that's wrapped around his waist. He has his traditional boots that Nappa always has. He has his gloves, his half gloves there, and his quite large arms. Very cool looking figure. This is highly recommended. You can see how, like I said, we get to the articulation. If you like the cosmetics or the aesthetic of the figure, or the look of it, you can see here how crazy you're going to get with a deep articulation in the knees here. And you see there's really not technically any joints, so to speak, because this part of the leg, this goes into the upper part of the leg here. There's no joint to connect the two legs. The legs are just connected from one to the other. It's kind of interesting, right? And so for the arms, there's really no joints that we're used to seeing to just connect one to the other, the lower arm to the upper arm. Very awesome. Now, like I said, there may be, it's a hit or miss for your likes. But for me to have a 1/18 scale Dragon Ball figures are just crazy. And big Dragon Ball Z fan. And Dragon Ball GT was cool. Dragon Ball Super was awesome. So, wish it had made some more of these. Like, all the characters have been awesome. But, let's take a look at the articulation. As you can see here, his head is on a ball joint. It will rotate 360. Then we have first articulation and neck, similar to like your Joy Toy figures, but it doesn't come out very easy. So we got a side to side and up and down a little bit. Now, these are different arms. What I mean by that is they're big, basically on a peg. Now, as you can see, you can position the arms to where you don't see the peg. But if you turn it to the side here, you guys see that peg in there? it's not bright. When you first get them from your first experience, you were like, oh, you know, the joint's not all in. You can't push that no further in. And it's like I lost a hand. So that maneuvers around there, so you can pull that arm way forward and get some insane articulation. Like, I mean, how many figures can you get his fist up to his mouth? You know, or can. But there, you're starting to see one of the downfalls to these figures is the materials are really good. They got nice quality materials, almost like you think like a Vitruvian hacks type feel to them. But the way their joints are made, you can see here, they, due to what they're going for is like a super articulated figures. You know, these ain't glued together. There's really technically no joints. So you have the ball there on a peg and on the peg, and the arm's just pushed on. It really doesn't snap or anything. So, you know, but I mean, look at that. I mean, the articulation is insane on the arms. But that's what usually happens with the upper arm on the balls. But it stays. Yeah, I'm violently shaking this thing. It's just when you move it to a degree of where you're outside of its comfort zone, it will fall. It could come off. You know, same way with this arm. It's just, I mean, you're talking like articulation. That's just nuts. I mean, I don't know any other figure that you can do articulation to some of these things that you can get. Yeah. Trying to get this. I mean, that's insane. So, yeah, so that's awesome. So the elbows, obviously, you know, you can see the nice more than 9 degrees. The hands do spin. There's no other joint on the hands, and they are just seated in there. Very cool. Now, you can get, you know, nice sync position on these guys, but obviously because of the sand armor, it's going to stop here. So, but as you can see, the articulation is there. You can get it. We'll take a look at that when we have the opportunity on one of the other characters that we'll be doing in the future. So let's go to his knees. I mean, you're talking, you know, double jointed knees on a big guy like this. As you can see, mighty awesome. You can get on his knees pretty good, no problem. Maybe if he's fighting young Gohan, he's teasing him, hey, I'll get on my knees to fight you or whatever. His ankles are 360 and they go up and down. Pretty nice. And they do have his side, if you want to do like a side kick. Either way, for posability purposes. Just insane amount of articulation and positions you can get this guy in. You can do a flight mode if you want. And I just pulled his foot off. What's nice about these figures, yeah, they may fall off every now and then when you're playing with it, but they get right back on, not broken. You can fly in if you want. However you want to pose his hands. Just want to simply do it back. Power flight. You know. But incredible. And, you know, I don't even have to touch his feet. See his feet further down. I can come down and land, and they'll settle straight down. Easy, right? Super cool. Now, these are actually very well scaled with other brands' figures. We'll take a look. First off, for a G.I. Joe reference, here's with Scarlet. These are true 1/18 scale figures. They're not. When we say 1/18 scale figures, we say anywhere between 3.75 inches to 4 inches. You know, depending on the character, like a Predator could be, you know, 4.5 inches, or just because of the aesthetic, and they're supposed to be bigger. But for these Shodo figures, they kind of just went 1/18 scale. Period. There was no, because Nappa should be bigger because he's a bigger character. He's technically not any bigger than Goku in the figure scale wise, but that's the route they went, and I'm okay with it for me. So that's the Scarlet. Like here's Lady J. Sorry. Baroness. I was looking for Lady J today, maybe new retro figures for my son, but you know, so that's probably why I have Lady J on mind. But there's how I scheduled the Baroness. Here is one of the troopers, female troopers, but she's a little taller. Nothing wrong with having a tall woman, right? Here she is with a Star figure. Here's Cardoon. Scouts pretty nicely. Here he is with Padme, or Queen Amidala. Scouts quite nice with her. Here he is with Mando. Very cool. And the only other figure I have handy right now is an Incinerator Trooper. How he feels. Scales with them. If I can learn how to talk today. The only accessories that it comes with is alternate hands, which you get 3. You get this gripping hand here. So much like you can palm someone's face, or if he's in battle or something, he could grab her head, or do like a karate, kata stance, so to speak. I don't remember if Nappa has any kind of energy ability or not. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen Dragonball Z. Then one of his other hands, he has his 2 fingers up. And then he has more of a Darth Vader, I want to choke you on a force choke hand. Or again, another kata, maybe a kata pose if you wanted to go that route. And they all look like, well, we have 2 right hands, 1 left hand. Is all you get in the accessories. When these initially came out, they were like $17.99, $20. Now they're ridiculous. You're in the $50, $70 for these things because they're not that old, a couple years. But if you're actually interested in these figures, you're going to pay a little bit for them. Do I recommend them? Yeah, they're fantastic. Are they perfect? No. They have... The only issues I have with them is... Main issue I have is, like, you know, it gets a little irritating sometimes if a limb falls off, like as you can see in the video. Like his arm. You know, that's irritating. But, I mean... You know, it's the price to pay sometimes. You give something to get some. the scale could have been, they went true 118 on these things. And let me see here. Well, he's actually a little short 4 inches, so yeah, they're right in that range of 118 scale. But you know, they're not as, he's not as big as you would expect. So, but these are fantastic figures. The quality is great. Highly recommend them. I mean, it's like they just came out of a cartoon. You don't see a lot of 118 scale of Dragonball, so these are the only one I know of that's really worth it, like for articulation wise. You know, what your standard looking for. He does not have any peg holes on his feet. He has no peg holes in his back. It's just a very nice rounded out figure. So, the unique style articulation and materials. So, hope you guys enjoyed a look at these Shodo Nappa figure. If you did like this review, please consider subscribing, because I'm going to be doing a review for more of these Shodo figures from Bandai. And some other things I'm going to be doing coming up, like some more Predator figures, some other G.I. Joes, Star Wars, etc. So you want to subscribe, hit that like button, share it if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next review.